Registration went for 70 plus. Yeah, we can accommodate only 40. At 50 we stopped. Tushar. Then drop it. At least for this one, this fellow will wake up. No? Hard thing with him is waking the fellow up. Okay, since Rufina also asked, I'll just share how I finished my chartered second stage. No. How I finished my CA second stage audit paper. So you can take this as a motivational story also if you want. I did all 5 subjects in that stage at a stretch while doing my advanced level. So both together. So it's a fun time. So you guys are saying one subject doing in 6 months is hard. So I did 5 subjects together along with the A-levels, and I had ACCA also in the pipeline. So altogether, I did 8 subjects, 4 from CA, 4 from ACCA, plus A-levels, right? So obviously then you can understand I will not have enough time to spend for some of the subjects. So that one subject that I couldn't spend enough time was called audit. I didn't study anything. I didn't know even the paper structure, but I still went for the exam. Not because I failed. I had a different interest to go for the exam more. Because my first crush was coming for the exam. So just to see her, I went. And luckily she wished for the first time. For the none of the other subjects she wished me. First time she wished me. She held my hand and wished me. So I was like, I was in the heavens. So I was like, okay, fine. If this can be happen, what is audit mean? Isn't it? Sorry?
Sir, one doubt, sir.
Yes, please go ahead, sir. We were waiting for you.
Sir, she wished you, right? All the best
Yes.
for the audit, right?
Yeah, for audit.
And you failed it.
No, I passed it.
You passed it. Then okay, sir.
Ah,
Congratulations, sir.
thank you, sir. And congratulations for forgetting the class 2 consecutive weeks.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. Won't happen next time.
Yeah. Next time, find out someone else to kill as well. You have to say a funeral or something, no?
Harry, sir. Padangum.
So, asking the answer for Ishak's question, I didn't go to the exam for confidence. I didn't have any confidence. I was double-minded whether I'm going to sit for the paper or not. I just went to see her. But lucky me, before the exam, this whole story happened. So after that, you get a booster anyway, right? It's a different kind of a confidence that you get. So I was like, okay, fine, let's give a try. I sat. Anyway, I was in audit firms by that time. Not audit firms though. I was doing A-levels at that time. But I liked audit always. Still, I love audit. The good thing about audit is this, audit is a philosophy. If you can understand the scenario properly, you can think and write. You don't need to memorize the things in audit. It's about your understanding. So if you understand the practicality of the scenario, obviously you can think and write audit procedures. There's no magic or rocket science there. Not like tax where you need to memorize the rates and all. Audit, there is nothing to memorize. Obviously, if it was tax, I am done. Audit, yeah, nothing to memorize. If you can understand, nothing to memorize. Tax, there are few chapters you need to memorize, no, but audit, nothing to memorize. That is if you don't understand the concepts. If you understand the concept, only 3 chapters that you need to memorize. Employment income chapter 1, tax administration, and a small part of inheritance. Yeah, that's it. Nothing else to memorize. The rest always we have a logic. So with that booster, I got through the exam. 50, that's enough. Not just that, I got through all the subjects in chartered that I sat that time. And I got through all the subjects I sat in ACCA that time as well. So 8 papers at a stretch I got through. All were continuous papers also. So that you can do. Yeah. Why? Not that hard. So just take that as a motivational factor that you can do that. So I had only few minutes before the exam when I got the booster. Now you guys have 1 month fully to focus. So if you can focus, this 1 month is more than enough for you all to finish off the exam with good colors. I got 50 within few minutes. No? So obviously you can take much more higher marks if you focus this 1 month properly. So first thing is first, guys, you have to have the confidence. Confidence is the most important thing. Whether you know or not is a different thing, but you should have the confidence that you can do. I'll tell you another example which I faced yesterday about confidence. You know University of Sri Jayadharapura? Okay, and you know the students there as well. They had a official summit yesterday. So we were invited to that. So PPI was there. We prepared very well. And everything was smoothly done. We had a speaker. Out of the blue moon, the event was yesterday. That means Monday. Sunday, 10 p.m., Azan sir calls me and says, I'm really sorry to ask this from you, but right now I don't have anyone to send. Can you please save me and go to the event? I was like, are you serious? This is not a time to joke. He was like, I haven't been serious to this much ever with you. So I have a problem for these friends. I can't say no. So he's a good friend of mine. So I couldn't say no to him. I don't know for what reason, but I said yes. I'm still thinking why I said yes, but I said yes. After I said yes, only I memorized this is not just that we are going there and presenting, it's an official event. The corporate sector delegates will also be there, CEOs, CFOs, other professional institutes, all will be there. And I don't know what to present. So, what should I do then? Correct? I came here morning, spoke to Dashra. She prepared a very nice presentation. Then I took that. I went there. And after I go there, they also gave me another surprise. Just before I enter the hall, I asked them, okay, what is the agenda? They were like, don't worry about the agenda, Mr. Lahiru. You are going to start. I was like, what? Please don't do that. Put me in the middle because my presentation is text heavy. Then they were like, can't help. Now the agenda has been circulated. So you have to start. Okay, now start with a solid but text heavy presentation. Do you think people will listen to that now? I went and I sat. After 5 minutes, the event started. They played their university anthem. Then they said, the asked me to come to the stage. So I had only around maximum 10 minutes. I couldn't think about what I should say within that 10 minutes. I was blank. Walked to the stage, went to the speakers in the sense the announcing girls, and I told them, look here, I don't know what I'm going to say because I'm not prepared, but don't present the entire presentation because that will be boring for the audience. First two slides present, the rest I will take care of. Came to the mic, started speaking. Somehow I managed to deliver a reasonable speech. Had some jokes in the middle, had some serious stuff in the middle, but somehow I managed to grab the audience. That's the whole objective. So that is what confidence can do. Your exam also the same thing. Most important thing is have confidence on yourself. If you have confidence, no one can fail you. If you don't have the confidence, no one will even bother to pass you. If you don't trust yourself, an examiner in a different country, miles away from you, why should that person trust you and pass you? So first of all, you have to trust yourself. Are we okay? Right. Now we'll move on to the paper. I believe confidence is more important than discussing questions. So that's why I spent around 15 minutes about a small motivational speech. There are more speeches I will share in the upcoming classes, especially about how I sat for exams and the challenges I faced when I was sitting for exams. Because I faced a lot of challenges, guys. I have more than enough examples to give for you guys to boost your confidence. So this is the start. You will have a lot more stories as well, around 5 to 10 minute stories about how to boost your confidence. Right. Moving to the question. Section B. So you know section B is a scenario driven one. We have 3 scenarios. Each scenario will have 5 questions. Each question will carry 2 marks. Correct? So now I am going to do a small shortcut. Scenario driven in the sense, generally you need to read the entire scenario and come to the requirement, right? I am not going to do that. I am going to use a small shortcut so that we can save the time. Your examiner is very good. Your examiner always has a nice flow in data. So I am going to take the advantage of that. Clear? I am going to move to the requirement as usual. First requirement. What is the amount of inheritance that would be received by Sanjay from Rajiv's estate? Question is clear? So this says there is someone called Sanjay. There is someone called Rajiv. And the question is around inheritance. We are clear about those two, no? Those three, no? Clear? Now let's start walking through the scenario. Following scenario is relevant for question 16 to 20 that we already know. Rajiv and Jamal were in a civil partnership. Rajiv died on 10th January 2024. The next heading is Rajiv's estate. Rajiv left an estate valued at 1.2 million for inheritance tax. After deducting allowable expenses of 50,000, under the terms of his will, Rajiv left 500,000 pounds to his civil partner Jamal and the residue of the estate to his brother Sanjay. Rajiv had made no lifetime transfers. So all the details you need to answer question number 1 is already there in the first para itself. So quickly calculate. 2 minutes. Everyone, please try. 2 minutes. Quickly try.
Thing is, I don't log the news. So what time are you finishing? Yeah.
8:40, 8:45?
8:45, 8:45. Yeah.
8:30 or 45?
I'll come around 8:25. So I'll be ready to come back.
Sure. You'll be back, no?
Yeah.
Done. Isha? Show me the answer, Isha. You do the answer properly, both of you.
Take care of this, I don't.
Okay. At least draw the numbers. Come on, Mr. Ishaq, do it.
Hello. Yeah, you are busy. Where is it? This is the
By any chance, if I merge the class again, good luck, Ishaq. Rufina done? Not sure, but done. Right. Okay. Let's see what are we going to do. What is the residue, first of all? What do we mean by the residue? Balance. How do you figure out the balance? Right? Okay.
1.2 million. Deducting.
Okay. Shall we try? So the estate value is 1.2 million, right? The overall. Yes, I agree. You first of all, you need to take out expenses. But here you don't have expenses. They are saying this is after deducting the expenses, isn't it? Agree?
It's just given. Sorry.
Read the question carefully. So then 500 I can deduct. Exempt legacy. So I'm deducting 500,000. Then the remainder is how much? All right. Now what should we do? Sanjay, yes. That's the residue. So how can we derive at the residue now? Fadil, Amna, are we okay now? The options? Meantime, others, how are we going to derive at the balance now? We have to apply IHT first. Agree? So the question says, he has not done any lifetime transfers. There is something like that as well. Yeah. Why are we mentioning that?
So there's no IHT gave no lifetime transfers.
Okay. Nil rate band, can we use it now? I'm asking, can we use?
This is a DD.
This is a death estate transfer. Can we use the unused nil rate band? I don't know. I'm asking from you guys. Sorry? Can use. So can I deduct that? Sure. Can deduct. Okay. So can I deduct the entire 320? Rajiv, right? They are asking the residue. Can we deduct? Can. Okay, let's deduct and see. Okay, now what should we do? This is a minus.
375 will be the values.
375. But is that correct? That they are saying they have already deducted. Then yes. So first of all, let's try to understand the flow. What do we need to do? Residue means first you need to figure out what is the balance after the exempt legacies. That is this one. 700,000. That we figure out. Then what we need to do? We need to calculate the IHT. Agree? After calculating IHT, we need to deduct IHT from this 700,000. Then we will derive at what we can transfer to Sanjay, right? Agree? Am I correct or wrong? So once you deduct this 325,000, how much is the value? Okay, then what should we do? 40%. How much? 150. Is that correct? Check. Are we missing something? It's a revision, so we need to think now. It's not just doing the question, we are trying to revise the concept. Are we missing something? Transfer of?
Unused limited bed can be transferred to serial partner.
Okay, but that is after the second partner also die, no? Here one partner is alive, no? Jamal is alive.
But in both they who are they going to transfer?
Whoever receiving the assets.
So if one serial partner dies, can't the other serial partners, the person who dies, died, it's unused, will go to this.
Yeah, that's what we deducted, 325,000. What else?
I think he also has Indian bed.
He is not paying a tax right now, no. What has been asked to figure out the value of the estate that Sanjay is receiving. Agree? So for that, what we need to do, figure out how much is remaining from Rajiv's estate after we set off the IHT. That is what we need to do, right? Agree? Deduct? What? Tapper relief, can we apply it for the death estate? That is for the lifetime transfers at the time of death. Yeah. How about this one? It's not used, right? So we can use that. Can we? Sure.
It has to be low of 175,000 or value of the estate.
But first of all, exactly. Is that happening here? No, right? Then we can't take this. You agree? Residence rate back?
So what is not happening, sir? I didn't understand, sir.
Sorry, Shah.
What is not happening, sir?
What is not happening in the sense?
75,000. What is
Okay. What is not happening is there is no main residence, first of all. Second one, that has not been transferred to a direct descendant. Agree?
yes. Okay, sir.
Okay. It is Shan, right?
Definitely, sir. Definitely.
I thought so. Now, if I apply 40% here, what's the value? 150. So this is the IHT, right? Now I need to set off this IHT against this one. That is the balance remaining, right? 700 minus 150, how much? 550. 375. How we derive that? Sorry guys, something happened, the numbers went. So I am applying 40% here, that is 150, right? Then when I set off here, it will be 550. This is the residue. We are agreeing with that?
The 700 value is the residue.
No. Residue is 550. So we are going to drill down step by step when we are calculating the residue. This is a common question in most of the papers if they ask inheritance. That is why I am spending a bit of extra time here to explain this whole residue story. If they ask for the residue, we have few steps to follow. Step number 1, figure out the death estate value. We did. This is the death estate. That is step number 1. Agree? Step number 2, deduct the exempt legacies.
So but yes,
Transferred to spouse or civil partner. So that we deducted 500. Then the remainder would be the balance estate value. That is 700,000. We took that as well. But we are saying about the residue. Residue means we have to set off the IHT on the death estate as well. Isn't it? Because IHT should be paid from the death estate. After paying that, the balance would be the residue. Agree? So then we have to figure out IHT value. Correct?
that is not.
That's what we did next. So to figure out IHT value, the question says Rajiv did not have any lifetime transfers. No lifetime transfers means the entire nil rate band is available.
After deducting 325,
The taxable estate. So on the taxable estate, we applied the inheritance tax rate, which is 40%. So out of the 700,000 balance estate, you need to set off 150,000 IHT. That means the balance would be your residue, right? That is 550. Those are the steps that we need to follow if they ask for the residue in the exam. Figure out the death estate, take out the exempt transfers, then figure out the IHT. Deduct the IHT from the balance estate. Then what you get, that is known as the residue. We are good? Clear? All are okay? That's a taxable estate. Rajiv, who did not use any lifetime transfers, but we are calculating for his brother. Do we need to assume the same for his brother? Again, somewhere. The question is, we are not calculating the IHT for his brother. We are calculating how much is the value of the estate we transferred to his brother. His brother is still alive. So we can't calculate a death estate for a live person. Right? We are not calculating the tax for Sanjay, who is Rajiv's brother. We are just calculating for Rajiv. The remainder from Rajiv is what we are transferring to the Sanjay. Rajiv's remainder only we calculated, not Sanjay's. Soumya, are we okay? Does this apply to wife transfer as well? What do you mean by wife transfer?
Sorry, sir. I meant, does this apply for the previous transfer as well? Like for 500,000?
500,000 is a specific exempt transfer, right? Inter-spouse transfers, we don't need to worry about these stuff. No, anyway, it's an exempt transfer.
I get it. I get it, sir.
So that would be the first thing that we are deducting from the estate. We are okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. Any further questions, please? What is 375? What is the remaining estate? And then from what should we deduct? Depends on what we are trying to figure out. What are we trying to figure out here? The remainder from your estate, right? This 325 didn't go anywhere. It is just a deduction and allowance we gave to calculate your IHT. That 325 is there in the estate still, right? Just that we are not taxing it. Correct. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
What Sanjay gets is 550. This one.
Depends.
Death person's one, Rajiv's one. Because Sanjay is still alive, right? We are not calculating anything for Sanjay. From Rajiv, how much is transferred to Sanjay only we are checking. Until Sanjay is alive, we can't do anything else for Sanjay. If you really want, you can kill the fellow and redo the calculation for him. So far, the fellow is alive, so we can't do anything about that. We're good? Any questions from anyone, the online guys? All okay or any questions?
Sir, can you say the steps again? Is it okay? Sorry, sir.
I was expecting from you.
Sorry, sir.
No problem. Shan, be awake in the online, no?
No, sir. I was actually searching for the mock paper, but I couldn't find it, sir. Okay, I got lost a bit. Sorry, sir.
Shan, you come on Saturday, you know?
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir.
Ishak? Okay.
Okay, sir. Understood, sir.
Then you and Shan requested to have another class. I confirmed that day. They have it.
Sir, for real, sir, I'm focusing, sir, now.
I can see. Both of you all are focusing too much.
Ooh, sir.
You and your buddy Ishak.
Jack.
I think since you're online, Fadil is safe today. Fadil
Sir,
is there. He was there. Yeah, he's there.
Is there online, right?
Where do we get this mock from?
Exactly, sir. That's the question. Where do we get it from, sir?
You have a group, right?
Yeah, sir.
In that group, just scroll up. Or in WhatsApp, there is an option in the group where you can check the
Thank you, sir.
called documents.
Okay.
Yeah, the usual part-time group.
Sorry, sir.
Okay. You both come on Saturday, will you? Okay. Coming back. Steps again, like since Shan requested. One last time, I'm explaining the steps. First, figure out the death estate. Then, deduct exempt legacies. Then, deduct IHT. That's it. Only 3 steps. Yeah.
Sir, what about that 75,000 thing? That won't include in IHT
That
calculation.
is to calculate the IHT.
Okay, sir. I revise, sir.
Sorry?
170.
175 when you're asking, is it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That is residence nil rate band. In this case, residence nil rate band is not applicable. Because there is no main residence. If you have a main residence and transfer to the direct descendants, then only residence will come into the picture. Both criteria are not met here. There is no main residence itself.
Okay.
Shan, we are good?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right. Inter-spouse transfers and inter-partner transfers. Like if you transfer anything between you and I will not tell the name. Those who knows. Right. Next question. Which of the following could not have been included in the 50,000 of allowable expenses that were deducted from Rajiv's estate? Guys, so this one, you don't even need to read the scenario. These 2 marks you can grab without reading the scenario. It's a 100% theory question. Correct? Simply they are asking, out of the given list, what are the expenses that are not deductible for IHT purpose under the estate? Agree? Funeral expense, can we deduct? We can. We can deduct. Right. Cost of a tombstone, that is also a funeral expense, right? You know what is a tombstone? If you don't know, Google it. It has nothing to do with tax. Executor's fee, can we deduct? We can't. Executor has nothing to do with the dead person, right? He doesn't even know. Sorry?
So what is executor's fee?
Who is executor, first of all? Person who carries the what? No, tell. Carries what? Guys, technically, once a person passes away, the process is not as easy as in tax. You will have to, the whole estate will go to the courts. Then courts will appoint someone called executor. He is going to check the last will and whatever the legal agreement, marriage certificates, whatever he has. Depending on that, executor will split the assets. Sort of. Okay, I got a good question from Fadil. Can we pass with theory questions only? Calculations are confusing. You can, if the paper was auditing. Unfortunately, this paper is taxation, so you have to do the numbers. I'm not saying you can't, you can, if the paper was audit. But this is tax. Fadil, we are okay? Right. So whatever we need to pay for the executor, that is not anything related to the person who died. That you can't deduct from your death estate. Agree? Hima? Repayment of gambling debt owned by on to Rajiv's friend. Can we allow that to be deducted? No, right? Liabilities we can allow as far as you have a legally binding reason to pay. For gambling, you don't have any legally binding reason to pay. So that you can't deduct. Payment of Rajiv's credit card, yes. Who says gambling is illegal? This is UK. You are doing UK tax, not SL tax. UK, it is legal. That is why we are saying gambling fee, gambling income is exempted even. Chapter 2, if you can recall. Right. So this is not about whether gambling is legal or not, but it is his friend. So they don't have any formal agreement or any formal reason. Therefore, we can't allow that. Credit card, it's a legal liability. You have to settle. So that you can deduct from your death estate. Payment of Rajiv's income tax, yes, of course. Tax is a legally binding thing you need to pay, so that you can deduct. So the two things that you cannot deduct is executor's fee and repayment of gambling debt owed to Rajesh's friend. We're good? Isha? Anyone? Do we have any questions or are we okay? Great. Then I am moving on. Okay, next question. How much of Jamal's 15,000 pounds gift to Lee would be covered by inheritance tax lifetime exemptions? Question is clear. Jamal has given some gift to a guy called Lee. Out of that, how much can be covered by lifetime exemptions? That's all they are asking. Yeah, okay. Let's see. So about Jamal, gift to Lee. Jamal gave a 15,000 pound gift to his nephew, Lee, sorry, on his wedding day on 16th June 2023. This was Jamal's first lifetime gift. So what are the reliefs applicable? How much? 6,000. Marriage relief. What is the relationship between Jamal and Lee? Relative. Then what is the maximum amount of marriage relief you can take? 2,500.
By a partner. By
By anyone else, right? This is not a party to the marriage.
yeah.
As far as I know, I don't think Jamal is going to marry Lee, isn't it? Then it's not a party to the marriage. Anyone else, how much? 1,000. So then let's take the numbers. You have gift is 15,000. You have marriage exemption 1,000. So then how much is the value? 14,000. Now, anything else you can deduct? I'll ask one more question. This 1,000, is it correct?
By 1%.
Okay.
We are voting.
I don't know. I'm asking you. We are thinking from Jamal's point of view, let's say. Yeah. Either way, guys, this is a remote ancestor, right? It's your nephew.
Yeah.
So is it just another party to the wedding or? I'm asking from you, can we take the remote ancestor exemption here?
Remote.
Don't we have something like that? We had exemptions for parents,
Grandparents.
grandparents. So under that, we had remote ancestors also. If you check the handout, we had.
Yeah.
Yes. Then we had party to the wedding. Then we had anyone. We had 4 situations. Which one are we going to use here? Parents, of course, out. Remote is how much? Grandparents, how much? 2,500. Party to the marriage? Right. Can we use the grandparents or the remote ancestor story here? Not grandparents, but remote ancestors. That's a good question. Finally, we got the correct question. Who is related? Yes, they would be ancestors like grandfather, grandparents, great grandparents, top to the hierarchy. Then can we claim that? No, right? You are not in the top of the hierarchy. You are this side of the hierarchy. Yes. So then 1,000 we can claim. So it will be 14,000. Is there anything else we can deduct?
Annual exemption 3,000.
Okay.
Unused annual exemption for previous house can be claimed.
Okay. Last year annual exemption, how much?
3,000.
Okay. Then
That's it. 8,000.
yeah, okay. Do we have that answer? That's a risk question. We don't. Agree. That's why I asked. Do we have that answer? We don't have 8,000 there. Then where are we going wrong?
Closer to 8,000.
No. No. Where are we going wrong? What do you mean by lifetime transfers? They are saying this was Jamal's first lifetime transfer. Yeah, then gift to Lee is the first one. Anything else we can claim? This is the question. How much is the lifetime exemptions that Lee can claim? That was the point. That's the point, guys. That's the point. She's right. They are not asking the taxable value, right? They are asking the exemption values. You had 1,000 from marriage exemption. You had 3,000 from annual exemption current year. You had another 3,000 from the annual exemption last year. So altogether the exemptions is how much? 7,000. So how many of you all figure it out? That is exactly. That is tax for you. Be very careful about the requirement. So they are clearly saying what is the exemptions that you can claim. They are not asking for the taxable value. Luckily, they have not given 8,000 here. If they have given, what you would have done? Exactly. But your answer is wrong. Then you will complain, examiner hasn't marked your paper correctly. Isn't it? Sorry? Yes, Simon? So guys, I'm just taking extra bit of time in first few questions that we are doing because I want to explain you why you need to be very, very careful when you are reading. If that is helpful for you, please do that because you have the highlight option here. You have the highlight option. So if you feel anything, if highlighting is helpful for you, please highlight. You're good. But whatever you do, be very careful about what they are asking for, not the calculation that you are used to do. They might ask something in the middle like they did this time. The total exemptions only they asked. Be very careful, extra careful. We are good?
So it is IHT for the apportionment income, right?
Can have, yeah.
That is from the time they give the.
Can have. We are clear on this whole story now. What is your paper? Then you have a bit of understanding now. What kind of a paper are we looking at? We have a bit of understanding now. This is not hard, guys. Just that we are not reading clearly. Isn't it? It's purely whether we read properly or not. Yeah, okay? Right. Next question. Let's see whether we will figure it out this time. For inheritance tax purposes, what was the transfer of value of Jamal's gift of 5,000 shares in Zenith Limited to Neelam? So again, if they are testing inheritance, this is also generally a common question that they ask. One question common is the residue. Another question they commonly ask is this share transfer thing. Yeah, okay. So let's read and see what he has transferred to Neelam. Gift of shares to Neelam. On 15th September 2023, Jamal has gifted 5,000 shares in Zenith Limited to his niece Neelam. Before the gift, Jamal owned 20,000 shares in Zenith Limited, which has a total share capital of 50,000 shares. The value of shares in Zenith Limited on 15th September, they have given, depending on the holding percentage, what is the per share market value. That is what they have given. Clear? So how do we calculate this? We have done questions like this. Guys, very simple. Figure out the ownership percentage prior to the transfer. From that, figure out the market value. Figure out the ownership percentage after the transfer. Figure out the market value through that. The gap would be the reduction in the estate, which is the, what do you call, the value of the transfer. Simple as that. Steps are clear? Right.
Is
Then,
the value of gift before the transfer, deducting value of gift after, value of shares after transfer.
that's it. So now let's see how are we going to calculate this. Let's start with number of shares. Initially, she had how much? 20,000. Total shares was how much? 50,000. Percentage? 40%, right? 20 divided by 50.
40.
So if it is 40%, per share value is how much? £6. So that means
Jamal's value is 20,000 into 6.
correct. So 20 into 6 is how much?
26.
Then how many shares are transferred?
5.
5,000 out means 15,000 is the balance shares. 50,000 is as it is. Percentage is how much? 30. So if it is 30%, how much is the per share market value?
5.
5. 15 into 5. Then 120,000 worth of estate Jamal initially had, now has come down for 75,000. Then how much is the reduction in the estate? 45,000. Then isn't this the value of the transfer? Agree?
So the reduction.
He gave as a gift, no? So how can we have the value based on what he gets? He didn't get anything. Isn't it? If he disposed, if he sold, yes. Then you don't need to worry about anything like this. You can simply take the disposal proceeds and the cost. Correct? Uh, 15,000 shares, okay, that is straightforward. Jamal had 20,000 shares initially. Out of that, he transferred 5,000 shares to Neelam. So 20 minus 5 transferred. The balance number of shares that Jamal is owning is only 15,000 after the transfer. Soumya, are you okay? Great. The whole question is clear? Isha? Do we have the answer? Yes, we do. Any questions, guys? Anyone having any question, or are we okay? Online, guys? Any question? Right. Then shall we move on to the last part of this question? Okay. Select the correct rate and the due date for the payment of the lifetime inheritance tax on Jamal's transfer of £600,000 into the trust by clicking the relevant boxes. So we need to figure out the rate of tax and when it should be paid. Clear? Let's see what are the information we have about this trust. Jamal transferred £600,000 to a trust on 15th January 2024. It has been agreed that the trustees will pay the lifetime tax. If the trustees is paying, how much is the percentage? 20%. We believe that is the gross amount. So the tax rate should be 20%. We are okay? The due date, how do we figure it out? Right. So 6 months from the end date of the month on which you made the transfer. So you transferred on 15th Jan. So end date is 31st Jan. 6 months from that means 31st July 2024. So it's 20% and 31st July. Are we clear? So who was it hard? This is your exam papers. This is fine, means exam is fine. Was it?
So when if the donor pays, we take this 25% because we assume that it's on net basis.
It's the net basis, correct.
Donor is
Correct. We are good? Any questions up to now?
the stated, we assume it as donor will be the one paying the tax.
Correct. But here they are specifically saying it's the donee who's paying. We are okay? Great. Can I move on to the next scenario then?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, now again, I am going to use the same mechanism. I am going to read the requirement and come back to the scenario. Same thing. Right, first question. How much of pre-registration input VAT can Green Tech Limited reclaim? So that means obviously the question is going to be around VAT. Is it too cold? Okay, we'll switch it off for a while then, no problem. I can see that you're busy. Right. Thank you for the answer, Shan. The same as I have put. It gives the good door Shan vibe. Yeah, I can see he's studying well. He has to do questions. Not just him, you guys also. Everyone has to practice questions, guys. So right now what we are doing here is trying to revise through the questions. But you should do this with timing. So that's why generally in the class I give you time. Today we have 2 hours itself, so I'm just explaining. Generally in the normal 4-hour class, I will be giving the time for you to practice first. That is ACCA pre-mock. You mean full-time, guys? That's a pre-mock. That will be shared by ACCA. We'll let you know once they have released it. And we will discuss that as well. Okay, pre-mock we'll discuss later. Now come to this one. This is the pre-mock for last June. So Brilliant can answer without reading the case. Actually, no, you don't need to be brilliant to answer without reading the case. In the last one, even I answered one question without reading the case, right? Who says? I was in your seat around 15
The
years back.
last question?
No,
No, like, which one we answered without seeing?
second. Okay, I was also a student around 15 years ago. Yeah, ticking one, correct. Everything was ticking though. Okay, let's quickly move on to this question. The following scenario is relevant for questions 21 to 25 that we already know because each scenario will carry 5 questions. Green Tech Limited was registered for VAT from 1st June 2023. Pre-registration input VAT, Green Tech Limited incurred input VAT on the following cost prior to the registration. Now you have to determine whether these are deductible as input or not. Clear? Right. Please share this PPR in the revision group. I thought this was the unreleased pre-mock. No, this is not the unreleased pre-mock. This is the pre-mock for June 2024. Correct? No, it was June exam.
Good exam which was released in May.
Yeah.
2 weeks before.
Yeah, okay. Now, do we really need to count? Ishak? He was counting the months. This paper was not shared with anyone. I'm just accessing from the portal. But unfortunately, they have taken it out from your accesses. But since I have pre-assigned it when I was lecturing for that particular batch, I can still access this. So that is why this you guys cannot access from the portal. This one, of course, I don't think any of you are having the access for this. That's why I'm sharing my screen and trying to discuss through my screen since they have taken out the most of the past papers and all of the pre-mocks. Yeah, you will get access only for one pre-mock, that is your own pre-mock. That's why I'm trying to do from my portal. That we'll discuss after the class. This is getting recorded and live streamed in YouTube. Right? So how will practice then if most papers aren't there? Student, you don't know. Good question. How can we practice? That is why we are having the TRG, so we can practice here. Since I have the papers. Second thing, what we can do is we can try to request the papers and see if we can collect it. Yes, we can share it with you all, but I'm not sure whether they will share that or not. But yes, we can give a try to collect the papers from them. Yeah, okay? Namna, are we good? Right. We'll give a try, but can't promise whether they will share or not. Yeah, these papers, the pre-mocks. They have taken everything out, and the past papers. Why I'm shifting to pre-mocks is past papers, you have only the section C questions in the portal. So we need to get used to A and B as well, not just C. That's why I started with a pre-mock where we can see what is A and B looks like as well. Yeah, okay? Past papers, I think around 3 or 4 you can access from the portal.
Yeah.
Specimen only 2. Those are tiny questions. Specimen is not a tough one. There are 2 specimens, right? Both of them are very piece of cake kind of questions. But we have around 3 to 4 past papers that you can access from your portal.
Is it completely chances are wrong?
Some.
Yeah. Like, how do you get
That's why I'm here.
all the details?
You can. That's why you pay a fees. So you can consult the lecturer if you have any doubts. Do it. That's why you have something called WhatsApp.
So even the viewers video is wrong.
If your answer is wrong, get an image, share it with me. Okay.
I think we don't know. That's different too.
What we studied, you know. No. So if the that is your problem then. If you know what we studied and if what the explanation they are giving is different from that, then get in touch with me. We can clear it out. Yeah, okay. Now, guys, you have 1 month only for the exam, less than 1 month. So don't scratch your head and waste your time on thinking whether this is right or wrong. Just drop me a message or give me a call. We'll sort it out there itself. Better try with me. Because past papers, like I said, the rates are different.
So I
Current,
think this guideline you gave like some questions, those are okay.
those are not past papers.
Yeah, those are from the Kaplan kit or you see?
Some are from Kaplan kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, can do.
You didn't see it was uploaded in the. But it is
I promise that I will give. So they have uploaded that. Yeah. For the next 30 days, what you need to do? Okay. They upload it. As promised, it was given. You guys can access it from, and they dropped a message as well, as far as I know.
So those are.
Yeah. Still, if you doubt,
You only that enough.
no. That includes study hub as well. When you open that, you will see.
It's nice.
It should be nice. I spent 2 full days to prepare that. Okay, jokes apart, we'll come for that now. So yes, what I was trying to say, past papers, the problem for taxation is they have not changed the questions or the mock answers. So each year when there is a change in the Finance Act happens, those changes would not be reflected in the older papers. So that is the concern for taxation. So that's why I asked people who followed with me not to practice past papers until I start discussing them, because when you're discussing with me, I can put some assumptions and nullify those effects. Okay. Otherwise, if you just check the model answer, you might get confused. Clear? Right. Class is until 8:45. That I'm also not sure. At least we'll try to finish this question. It can be 8:45 or 8:30, depending on the time.
There's one.
I don't think. First finish this one, then we will see. Depending on the number of questions you guys have around this one, only the things will depend on. Right, Green Tech Limited incurred the pre-registration VAT. So pre-registration input VAT, what are the conditions we had? Great, so it depends on whether it's a good or a service. If it is a good, what are the conditions? Number one, business purpose. That is applicable for service as well. Number two, should not be not sold or consumed as of the date of registration. Agree? 3 was only within 4 years. Agree? Services, business purpose, and only 6 months. We're good? These were the criteria we had. Agree? Right.
So I am sold on the same thing, like on the same day, I am sold like what's it called?
Not the same date. So it should not be sold or used. No. Forget about same date. I don't know from where the same date came. Prior to the registration, it is not sold or it is not used. Clear? There is no same day story. Prior to the registration, cannot be sold or cannot be used. Let's say laptops. Even non-current assets.
Products basically. It's a
Yes.
Food
Can't
type
use.
thing, right? Any item.
Any item? No, she asked for what is meant by used. That's why I took laptop as an example because it was one of the former exam questions. Any goods, but to explain, we have something called examples. So laptop was an example. There was one exam question where they have purchased two laptops. One is used, the other one is not used. So you could claim the input VAT for pre-registration only for the unused laptop. Yeah, okay? Right. Now let's see the question.
So what about jewelry?
What?
Jewelry.
First of all, it should be for business purpose. Then you should be a jewelry dealer. No one else purchase jewelries for business purpose unless you are a jewelry dealer. If so, it will be your inventory. So if you haven't sold, you can claim input VAT. If you have sold, sorry, record. Yeah, okay? Right. So first one is 1st of April 2021, a machine used in business. For that, they have paid a VAT of £5,000. Can you claim that? Great. It has used already. So you can't claim VAT on that. Second one, 1st of October 2022, consultancy fees, VAT is 300. Sorry. Can't. Why? Correct. It's more than 6 months. So you can't claim.
So what's the date?
Hmm?
What's the date? Okay.
1st of October 2022.
So 6 months from when?
Date of registration. Yeah. Then 1st of February 2023, advertising expenses 400. Can we claim that? That is with the 6 months period, right? We can claim that. Right. Now the concern is machine. Can we claim or not? Since it's used. Agree. Think
Not
it-
within 4 years, right?
It's within 4 years. So all needs to be met. That is the problem. All the criteria needs to be met. Can we allow them?
So machinery is there.
Like used car.
So what's the business?
Business, we don't know. They are not mentioning about the business. So guys, again,
They are not selling the machinery. Maybe they are using the machinery to.
fine, but you have used the machine, right?
Used or sold.
So if you used, can we claim input VAT? Thing is, guys, this is not income tax. This is VAT. So we have to come out of the income tax concept now. We have to put our shoes into the VAT concept. Yes, it is relevant for your business. That is fine. But our concern is, by the time you started using this machine, you have not registered for VAT. Then can I allow you to claim the input VAT? That is the concern, no?
By the time you started using, you have not.
Registered for VAT. Then can I allow you to deduct it? That is the question now, no? Agree? If so, unless we meet the criteria, we cannot claim. 4-year criteria is met. Use for business purpose is met. But it is used. Isn't it? Then it's not unused or non-consumed one. It is a consumed one. Then can I allow to use it? then I cannot allow, right? Otherwise, if I allow that, what will happen? All the capital assets I would have purchased during the last 4 years, I will claim for import VAT. Irrespective of whether I use it or not, I will claim everything if I allow that to be done. Isn't it? Agree?
Sir, a small doubt, sir. You said it should be also meeting the criteria which is business purpose, right?
Yep.
So if it's business purpose, obviously it's going to be used, right?
Okay.
So it's consumable, right? So it can meet one of it criteria.
No, you have to fulfill all the criteria because the thing is now let's okay, forget about capital assets. Think about your
Can you give
inventory.
an example, sir?
Yeah, let's go for inventory for an example. So let's say you have 100,000 worth of items in the inventory. Now I take out that requirement that sold or consumed part, I take out. You have 4 years then, right? Then for all the items you sold for the last 4 years, you will claim the input back. If I don't have the criteria sold or used. Whatever the item you sold, for everything you will claim input VAT. If so, HMRC will be bankrupt by giving you refunds. Isn't it? So that is why we have the criteria sold, cannot be sold or used. Shan, are we okay?
Thank you so much.
In this case, what is the,
We can't.
so the answer is 400 only?
Yeah.
Right, final distribution.
Did I tell this answer is correct?
So when is the date?
They're saying it 1st of June, right? 2023. When did I tell whatever I type here is correct?
Well, then, sir,
Time is correct for this.
for services, which will be prior to exit.
Try to see within 6 months. Can't go beyond 6.
Like, when we prior.
Try. After anyway you can claim. Okay? Clear? Any questions, guys? Okay, then I'm moving on.
Hey, you give a chart, right? Like criteria chart can show it.
This is a criteria chart.
But within 4 years means it should be within 4 years to.
Okay. Can't be more than 4 years.
And the same thing applies with the 6 months. Also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay? Right. The next question. What is the tax point of supply of energy saving light bulbs of Green Tech Limited? So that means at some point they have purchased some energy saving bulbs. We need to figure out what is the tax point for that. Agree? So let's try to read and see.
From the, from where which period it's been.
For which period it is relevant? For which date? Exactly. So let's read and see. Energy saving light bulbs. Straight away the heading is there. A customer placed a large order for some energy saving light bulbs on 15th July 2023. So the order is received on 15th July. Is there a tax point? No. Green Tech Limited delivered the bulbs to the customer on 30th July 2023. Is that a considered point? Yes, that point we can consider. You have done the delivery. Send the invoice on 31st of August 2023. Do we need to consider that? Right now, no, because the delivery has happened before that. The customer paid on 10th September. Again, no need to consider because delivery happens first. Because just because you placed an order, did you do a supply? You can cancel the order as well. You after supply, how can you cancel? Yeah, bound to pay after that. Order you are not bound to pay, isn't it? Agree? Order you can cancel at any point, right? Yes, you can ask for advance payment. There's a point raised by Udar. Yes, you can ask for advance payment. Then from the date the your customer paid you advance, that will be one of the tax points that we can consider. But here, no such advance has happened. Then take the earlier date. If the advance date is earlier, take that.
That was paid on the same day it was made the order, like the date. So he made the order.
Then you can take that date, but because of the advance, not because ordered. Agree? Udari, are we okay? Invoice date is taken as valid. Right. We're good? So then 30th July would be the date that we have to consider. Agree? Okay, then I'm moving on to the next one. Select whether each of the following statement regarding the flat rate scheme is true or false. Again, do you need to read the scenario for that? If you know the flat rate scheme, you can answer, right? Point number 1. To join the scheme, the expected taxable turnover excluding VAT for the next 12 months must not exceed £150,000. Is it correct? Yes, that is true, right? The limit was £150,000. So that is true. Second one, a business has to leave the scheme if the total turnover excluding VAT exceed £230,000. Is it correct?
It exceed 150. It exceed 150.
300. Exit limit is £300,000. Entry limit? Yes, Fadil, correct. Rufina, correct. Entry limit is 150,000 for flat rate scheme. Exit limit is 300,000 for flat rate scheme. Okay? Right. The business must have committed no VAT offences in the previous 12 months. Yes. If you have committed any offences, you can't go for flat rate scheme. VAT invoices will no longer have to be issued to the customers. If you are not issuing that, why should you register for VAT? That is obviously by default false. You are claiming input VAT, which should have been your expense technically. Isn't it?
But the actual revenue is received by the government, no? As a matter.
But you are also getting benefit, right? Your invoices you are claiming, input VAT you are claiming. Technically, you also have a benefit. You are claiming that from your customer simply. Isn't it? Your tax you are claiming from your customer. We are good? Right. So this one also we did not have to read the entire scenario. Just from the table itself we figure out. So 4 marks already we took without even reading the scenarios. Agree?
So in this system, why did we get one wrong? Why did we get one?
Fully lost. No partial marks. 2. Every question 2 marks. I know what comes into your mind, but unfortunately that's how it works in the exam. We're good? Yeah, sure. Right, let's check the next question. What amount of VAT will be payable to HMRC by Green Tech Limited for the year ended 31st March 2025 if it uses the flat rate scheme? You should assume the flat rate percentage is 12%. So how do you calculate if it is a flat rate scheme? We discussed today. How? Isha?
How do we?
Calculate the VAT payment for flat rate scheme. That's what they're asking. We forget about input and output. Take the VAT inclusive taxable supply, multiply by the flat rate. In this case, flat rate is 12%, 16.5. But in your exam, forget about general, whatever examiner gives, use that. We okay? Right. Now let's see read the balance part of the scenario and see how to tackle this. Flat rate scheme. Green Tech Limited is considering whether to use the flat rate scheme in future. The company's forecast VAT inclusive turnover for the year ended 31st March 2025 is as follows. Zero rated £30,000, standard rated £60,000. Green Tech Limited standard rated expense for the same period is £24,000 exclusive of VAT. So do we need to bother about the expenses? No. Then how should we calculate now? 60 or 90? Why 90, 60? Excluding. It's 90 into 12. Yeah, value supply would be value of supply including VAT. So then it would be 90. Expense anyway we don't consider. Yeah, how much?
10,000.
Right. Then you know how to calculate, right? Flat rate scheme means simply VAT inclusive turnover. Yeah. VAT inclusive turnover into not the turnover actually. VAT inclusive taxable supply. In this case, yes. Because now you are charging 12%.
But then they have just given zero rated sales and below so standard rate.
Okay.
Right? It doesn't hold any significance.
Yeah, here no. Here no.
It's not like criteria is zero rate. Yeah. Here they're just giving.
Flat rate scheme, no impact. They are just trying to confuse you. But if it was normal input output calculation, yes, it would have had an impact. Because zero rate doesn't have any output VAT.
0%.
Yes. We are okay? Right. Can I move on to the next one then? What amount of VAT will be payable by Green Tech if it does not use the flat rate scheme? The out of the flat rate scheme, what will happen? Usual method, correct. So 30,000, no output VAT. 60,000 is inclusive, so that divided by 6, so 10,000 because it's inclusive. So that means 10,000 because 30 is zero rated. So there is no value included therefore VAT, right? Then how much is the VAT rate? Right. Then 24,000 into 20, how much? 2,800? What's the standard wet rate? 16.5. Isha,
Both of them.
20%, right?
Both of them.
Okay, so let's write output. Zero rated. Or standard rated 60,000 divided by 6. That means 10,000, right? Then input 24,000 into 20%. How much? 4,800. 5,200 will be the VAT that you need to pay. Okay? That I need to type here. Are we okay?
If it mentions, if it does use the flat rate scheme,
We already did what we need to do. Previous one. Previous question. Yeah. Are we okay with this kind of a question? This is how your papers will look like. So it's not hard. If you practice, yes. The easiest thing is read the question very, very carefully. Requirement and the question both. Then you can figure it out. Are we good? Clear? Right. So we'll stop at this point for today. It's 8:45 now. We'll catch up on the next day with the balance part. So we'll catch up next day with the balance questions. And thanks everyone for your participation. You guys also have a nice day. See you guys on the next class then. Good night. Bye.
Good night, sir. Bye, sir.